Good evening, dear Kuwait television viewers, and welcome to another new episode of your weekly program, Kuwait in 30 Minutes. The English News and Political Programs Department has prepared a variety of reports that highlight the main events that have recently taken place across Kuwait. Our committed team of reporters is constantly engaged in numerous events with the objective of keeping you, dear viewers, aware of the latest information, regulations, and policies. Our aim is to help you obtain information on the latest developments at the local scene. So stay tuned for more coming your way this evening. In our first story for tonight, for 8 continuous days, border checkpoints received Kuwaiti citizens returning from Saudi Arabia. All procedures and conditions were facilitated to make the process run smoothly while maintaining security and health requirements. Our reporter Hadil Fahad brings us the whole story.
After the completion process of evacuating the Kuwaitis stranded abroad by air, that lasted for 14 days, in which the various sectors of the country participated, the process of evacuating citizens overland through the Nwesi border crossing, which was last until May 20th, has started a maximum of 400 citizens per day crossing from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We find Ministry of Interior, Customs, General Fire Department, Red Crescent Society, in addition to the Ministry of Health, which has played a big role in this stage, where it received citizens in Al Khairan Resort to examine them.
We start a plan to evacuate Kuwaiti from the sister Saudi Arabia, and we will enter 400 people per a day, and we will continue at 8 days. And we hope everybody will follow the safety.
For 8 continuous days, the border crossing workers will work to receive their Kuwaiti brothers to get them safely to their beloved land. Reporting to the English News, this is Hadil Fahad.
In light of the current local situation regarding COVID-19, the government has altered daily activities in order to protect the safety and well-being of society. One of such activities was how people buy their groceries. Visiting a cooperative society currently requires arranging an appointment via the Ministry of Commerce and Industry's website. Other procedures were also observed once shoppers arrived at their respective co-op society, among them having their temperature checked and several other procedures to ensure everyone's safety. Our reporter Ghanwa Jabouri recently visited Salmiya Cooperative Society and spoke to management and volunteers to gain a better perspective of how the process of organizing shoppers is taking place.
To prevent the spread of COVID-19 among society, the Kuwait government has imposed a number of restrictions and taken several measures, among them allowing only a certain number of consumers to enter co-op societies to purchase their goods, among many other measures to protect the safety and well-being of consumers.
First, the consumers come to our co-op. We have to check their barcodes first. Then they should have a seat till their appointment, till their time for entrance comes. Then they should go through the sanitization aisle. Before that, they have to wear their masks and gloves. After entrance, they can take our cards, of course, and of course our cards are already sanitized. Then they have only 30 minutes for shopping. they have to finish shopping before 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, they won't be able to pay for their goods.
Shoppers are only allowed to visit their local co-op society after arranging an appointment online through the Ministry of Commerce and Industry's website. After arriving at their respective co-op society, civil ID cards are presented at a booth where staff verify certain details. Upon exiting the co-op society, shoppers collect their civil ID cards.
We're doing here as a volunteer. First of all, we check the customer civil ID if they have an appointment with the Salmiya Co-op, and then we make sure that all customers they wearing gloves and also masks.
Furthermore, the temperatures of all shoppers is checked before entering the co-op society and are allotted a certain amount of time to complete their shopping in order to give other shoppers a chance to carry out their shopping.
Ensuring the community is safe as they come to buy their goods. From Salmiya Co-op Society, I'm Gena Jaburi reporting to you for Kuwait in 30 minutes.
And coming up next, the Kuwait Foundation for the Advancement of Sciences and the Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research have announced the COVID-19 hackathon. The move came in cooperation with the United Nations Development Programme in Kuwait and the General Secretariat of the Supreme Council for Planning and Development, as well as the National Fund for Small and Medium Enterprise Development. The hackathon was an initiative in support of the government's efforts in combating the spread of COVID-19 and dealing with its repercussions by crowdsourcing innovative business solutions. Our reporter Hadil Fahad brings us the whole story in this report.
A joint project between the United Nations Development Programme in Kuwait, General Secretariat of the Supreme Council for Planning and Development, the Kuwait Foundation for the Advancement of Sciences, the Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research, and the National Fund for Small and Medium Enterprise Development to address an important topic. Their main concern is to provide an opportunity for small and medium-sized companies to combat the pandemic the world is going through now.
I passively observe the substantial direct impact the coronavirus pandemic has had on the Kuwaiti economy, and especially on Kuwait's private sector and its SMEs. I will then discuss KISR's ongoing effort to support SMEs and highlight aspects of the Techno-Economics Division policy research in support of fostering SMEs' innovation and creativity. And I finally say a few words about the future trajectory TED hopes and believes that Kuwait will invigorate.
The Hackathon Kuwait program aims to tackle the cut-off supply chain, develop ideas, and provide business models for raising health sector-related problems.
The National Fund for SMEs is partly the rightful partner for SMEs in making sure that they have the right platform to develop and create the proper environment, economical environment to make an impact. And I was very delighted to know that the SMEs were going to participate in this, because I know the spirit of the SME or the entrepreneur is always creative and a fighter against all odds. We've had many successful businesses throughout this COVID-19, though it's a negative impact on economic spans. But we've noticed that some creative people have been able to find solutions for the supply chain and their problems.
The program aims to meet the difficulties and challenges facing small companies in light of the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Hackathon Kuwait is a mechanism to challenge crisis and innovation. This is Hadil Fahad reporting to Kuwait English News.
With the imposition of a complete curfew in the country, the health authorities announced a 2-hour break period, allowing citizens and residents to go out for a walk or any other outdoor activities while remaining within their residential areas and taking all precautionary measures. Our camera monitored the situation to convey to you the image in the following report.
People live in near total isolation from their surroundings due to the curfew and the state of emergency that the world is experiencing in the current time due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. At this time, governments of the countries are trying to control the growth of the coronavirus through domestic isolation and reduce crowdedness and mixing in the streets.
I think it's great because mental health and physical health, they go hand in hand. I mean, you're not going to be in good physical condition if your mental health is not there.
We put the mask and the gloves, everything. This is better.
People are now allowed to go out and walking in the area with taking all precautionary measures.
With the expansion of the spread of the coronavirus and in light of the boredness that many people feel due to staying at home, the authorities allowed citizens and residents to walk only inside their areas for 2 hours while applying health instructions.
It's fine. It's good for the body for like exercise like this. Then also had for the some people here. It's nice to. It's better to exercise and go outside. I follow the procedure of government here in Kuwait because it's for a safe.
The only light has by slight illuminations and billboards broadcasting phrases urging people to stay in homes to maintain their safety and limit the spread of the virus. This is Hadi Fahad reporting for the English News.
And in the following report, the Judicial Caesar team at the Ministry of Electricity and Water continued its campaign in Wafra farms to eliminate violations after reports of infringements on state property. The move came in coordination with the Kuwait Municipality, the General Authority for Agriculture, and the Environment Public Authority. More details in the following report.
The electricity and water teams continue to eliminate the violations on the overhead lines that connect the electrical current to Wafra farms and educate farmers to cut the tree near the lines, which always poses a threat to cut the power and interrupt the service.
With the cooperating of Kuwait Municipality and Environment Public Authority, we, the Ministry of Electricity and Water, are removing all the trees under our line to protect the family and to protect our line. We have a sticker, warning sticker. We put it on the door of the farm that have any violation under the line. It's usually we have a limit time for the warning. After that, if they didn't remove the trees or any violation, we come and do our procedure.
This tour came to follow up on the work of maintaining the violations of state property and the electricity there and monitoring the progress of work amid the current exceptional circumstances in which the country suffers. This is Hadi Fahad reporting to Kuwait English News.
The Ministry of Health has made reinforcements for major hospitals amid the spread of the coronavirus. The reinforcements included establishing miniature field hospitals made of large tents in hospital courtyards where suspected COVID-19 cases would be received. A team toured Al Farwaniya Hospital where the camera monitored the reception of cases and procedures carried out by special teams dedicated to caring for suspected and confirmed cases. The following report brings us the whole story.
Al Farwaniya Hospital has increased its preparations to confront the coronavirus, to control it and limit its spread. The hospital has taken many measures and precautions and set up a special emergency unit to receive suspected cases, especially those who suffer from symptoms associated with the respiratory infections such as the coronavirus.
We have 2 tracks for COVID and non-COVID patient. We established a field ER for respiratory cases. So any patient who will come, he'll be directed with pre-triage to the respiratory area, and we kept normal flow of normal patient to the normal ER. Then we reallocate admission to a certain area which located far away from other hospital facilities for positive COVID cases. Then when our capacity reached a certain level, we thought that we'll increase our bed capacity by using the OPD as wards.
The hospital team works around the clock with medical and technical teams equipped with the latest necessary medical equipment to confront the COVID-19. And the hospital also offers wards that have been isolated with the latest advanced medical and technical means dedicated to receiving cases.
We increased our capacity for COVID cases to 114 beds. We can expand as well, increase it to 150. Currently, we opened 2 new ICU for only respiratory cases, I mean COVID. Then we might increase a step down, another ICU. So we'll have 3 ICU and 314 beds for COVID.
The Ministry of Health is working with all its staff and hospitals to confront this crisis, COVID-19 pandemic, and this evident through the continuous working in all hospitals. This is Hadil Fahad from Al Farwaniya Hospital reporting to Kuwait English News.
There are many people in Kuwait who have provided vivid examples of dedication and human quality. They have dedicated themselves to serve and support people in need and those affected by the consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic. More details in the following report.
Here we see the Imam of a mosque who devoted his time and effort to serve people since the beginning of the pandemic crisis, as he cooked 3,000 meals for the affected labor. We listen to him, talk with passion, and we feel very compassionate. We learned a lot from him, with the feeling that no matter how different we are, we agree that people care for people.
Since the beginning of the crisis, and I have been preparing meals for workers exceeding 30,000 meals. My eye is tearing and my heart is bleeding when I look at people standing in the heat. I do not think that this person standing in the heat and the hot sun will take a meal while he owns it. It's impossible.
We went with him in the morning and saw him cooking and preparing food with a smile that filled his face. He then took us and the food in his car and went to Al-Mahbula to distribute it, as he so spends his every day. The baths brought us together with good people whom we had not planned to meet before, and even if we had planned, it wouldn't have been that beautiful. This is Hadil Fahad reporting to Kuwait English News.
The House of Zakat continues to provide assistance to poor and needy families throughout the year, as it recently distributed food supplies to impoverished families. The House of Zakat has intensified its assistance after the COVID-19 crisis and has recently distributed food supplies to 3,350 poor families. The following report brings us more details.
The House of Zakat continues to support needy families within the framework of its vital role in providing food and security. The House supports them through donations to provide them with everything necessary to meet their needs to have a decent living throughout the year. The House of Zakat recently distributed food supplies to 3,350 of poor families who have ration cards issued by the House of Zakat.
We are putting these things in the box. Tomato paste, oil, milk powder, sugar and rice. And we are giving these things in all areas in Kuwait for families registered in Zakat House.
Charities and societies play a vital role in providing aid and caring for those in need, especially in the crises and disasters that the countries of the world go through from time to time. The outbreak of COVID-19, which swept the world, caused harm to many people. This is Hadil Fahad reporting to Kuwait English News.
The government has intensified its efforts to provide all services needed to confront the challenges caused by the outbreak of COVID-19. The Ministry of Social Affairs, for instance, encouraged cooperative societies to receive products of Kuwaiti farmers. It has also provided support for farmers to supply the market with locally grown vegetable products. More details in this report.
Many people visit cooperative societies, specifically the vegetable market. The Ministry of Social Affairs affirms that the doors of cooperative societies are open to receive the product of Kuwaiti farmers accredited by the Public Authority for Agriculture and Fish Resources, with this and welcome through the Kuwaiti Federation of Farmers. The news camera toured the societies and asked about buyers' opinions.
Yes, I find everything here. I prefer here in Kuwaiti vegetables. Here I get everything here. Almost a 90% here. Everything here.
You can found it what you want, but not everything. Not everything. Yani. You found it something very important. You found it, but something is not very important. You cannot found it.
The Ministry of Affairs has given great importance to supporting local vegetable products in cooperative societies, not from today, but from the early stages of establishing cooperative societies, through issuing several legislation regulating the mechanism of direct purchase of local vegetables. This is Hadil Fahad reporting to Kuwait English News.
In light of the spread of the coronavirus and the clear efforts of state agencies to limit its spread, expatriates have shown their solidarity with these efforts by contributing to their success. More details in this report.
Everyone works and participates in this crisis, not only the institutions, various, also the individuals. An idea came to a young Lebanese man who was stuck at home because of the corona crisis, where he turned his small company into a factory to make protective equipment to protect doctors and the nursing staff from COVID-19. based on his sense of shared responsibility and volunteering work, which grew inside him to extend a helping hand to his second home, Kuwait. Citizens have shown a high degree of solidarity in this crisis, which is a sign of popular awareness.
This is what can I do for this country.
Voluntary work was and is still a feature of Kuwaiti society. Today, we are in urgent need of all voluntary efforts. Crises like this are not isolated and cannot be dealt with through government efforts only. Rather, popular efforts and youth volunteering are an important part of the process of responding to this crisis. This is Hadil Fahad reporting to Kuwait in 30 minutes.
The Ministry of the Interior utilizes all its assets to confront the spread of COVID-19 and protect the society from its infection. Many departments in the ministry are making tremendous efforts in this crisis in order to ensure the safety of every citizen and resident in Kuwait. More details in this report by Hadil Fahad.
As the sunset came to meet the evening of the hill, the calm prevailed and the streets were empty, with voices barely heard. Policemen, the watchful eyes on the homeland, work in this exceptional moment to monitor the movements on the ground.
They are only concerned with your protection. We realize that the quarantine is tiring for some people, but we wish them to cooperate with us.
Kuwait is in safe hands as long as there are men who detected all their efforts, forget all hardship, and spend their time away from their families.
We did not enter the college and become in the police force except for the protection of citizens and residents. As long as we serve the country, there will be no tiring or boredom.
From one area to another, they spread like a beehive, working around the clock without getting bored to serve our beloved Kuwait. Reporting to Kuwait in 30 minutes, this is Hadil Fahad.
Well, this brings us to the conclusion of tonight's episode of Kuwait in 30 minutes. We hope to see you again same time next week. Our highly dedicated team of correspondents is constantly out on the field searching for reports that matter most to you. Thank you for joining us tonight and see you next week with more exclusive reports. Have a good night.